What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that is the most important thing that you can do for me on this channel. What that does is that it helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get their notifications, and it helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Also, if you're new to the channel or maybe you've been ghost watching for quite some time now, please hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to inform people about this news and information, and that also helps give me a boost in the YouTube algorithm. And with all that out the way, let's get into today's news. And crime, and more crime. Crime is going up, migrant crime, that is, in the city of Chicago, as if the good citizens of Chicago don't have enough on their plate to deal with concerning just homegrown foolishness, which is something that every city has to deal with. That's not something that's exclusive to Chicago, right? Every city and every neighborhood has to deal with their fair share of foolishness. But now, because of Joe Biden, we have imported foolishness. We have imported crime coming in from other countries that's now compounding on top of the foolishness that was already existing within our respective communities, cities, and neighborhoods. So I want to get into this latest article right here, and then we're going to dive into a video clip afterwards. But this article here, as you can read, it states Chicago police arrest 4 Venezuelan migrants for allegedly strangling and robbing a man on a train. Wow. Let's dive into this for a little bit more information and see what happened. And like I said, once again, afterwards, we're going to hop into a quick video clip to get some more information. 4 illegal immigrants from Venezuela were arrested Saturday for allegedly robbing and beating a man on a CTA line in Chicago. Police said the 4 men robbed and beat a 49-year-old man on a CTA train in the 2000 block of South Costner Avenue. The man was reported to have lost consciousness but has since recovered. They strangled this man unconscious. Okay, let's carry on. Police arrested the 4 alleged offenders just before 5:30 p.m. in the 2000 block of South Pulaski Road, less than 45 minutes after the robbery and beating. Responding officers located the 4 men and placed them into custody, charging them each with robbery and aggravated battery and strangulation. I skipped over this very quickly, but let's not do that. I want to make sure that we all see the faces of those who are charged with robbery, aggravated assault, or aggravated battery, and strangulation. These are the 4 criminals right here, illegal immigrant criminals that were imported into the country by way of Joe Biden rolling out the welcome mat for illegal immigrants to come into the country, right? So this is them right here. Thank you, Joe Biden. But now let's get back into this article, and then we're going to hop into the video clip that I have scheduled for you next, right? But I just wanted to make sure you actually got a good look at who these guys are. Now let's go down just a little bit more. The article continues to read, the 4 men gave their address as a city-run migrant shelter, a migrant shelter that's in a neighborhood near you. Immigrant experts told WGN9 that 3 of the 4 defendants face deportation if convicted on felony charges. I personally don't believe that. I don't believe that anyone's getting deported. That's just me personally. That's not me making a statement of fact. That's just what I believe. Because when you're talking about states like Illinois and city like Chicago, or you're talking about a state like New York or a city like New York City, these guys don't believe in deportation. Okay? They don't believe in that at all. Now let's carry on. The Chicago Police Department would not confirm their legal status or legal address to Fox News. They're not allowed to confirm their legal status because Chicago is a sanctuary city. They just don't keep track of these kind of things, or at least they don't offer it up to anyone, and they typically don't ask you for your legal status. That's one of the benefits of being in a sanctuary city like Chicago. So if you're applying for any type of benefits or some sort of jobs, they're not asking for your legal status. It's not required. You could be legal, you could be illegal, it doesn't matter. We don't want to know, because that's just how they get down in Chicago under the sanctuary city rule. The governor and Cook County Board president have asked state lawmakers for another $250 million to address the crisis after the city of Chicago has spent nearly double that. Okay. So, like I always state on this channel, more money, more money, more money. Or I should start saying more millions, more millions, more millions. And it's looking like in the city of Chicago, we're getting ready to get into more billions, more billions, more billions of dollars being spent on Biden's migrants. So now what I want to do is let's get into this video clip here, just to give us a little bit more information on what's going on in the city of Chicago concerning migrant crime and the troubles that police is having with just being able to hold on to these guys and finding out a little bit more information on them. So let's get into this clip right here.
The migrant surge at the border growing at a skyrocketing pace under President Biden, and he insists he's not the one to blame. Watch.
Every day between now and November, the American people are going to know that the only reason the border is not secure is Donald Trump.
I don't understand how people like this can fix their mouth to say a lie that crazy. Donald Trump hasn't been in office in 3 years, something like that. This man is the president of the United States. This is the man who literally threw away all of Donald Trump's border protection bills. He got rid of all of them, right? And then went soft on the laws, the pre-existing laws that already were in place prior to Trump. He literally opened the gate to allow illegal immigrants in, stepped to the side and said, Trump did it. Wasn't me. It was Trump. The ability for someone to be able to lie like that and get away with it is astonishing. It's astonishing.
His MAGA Republican friends. It's time.
Let me rewind that back just a little bit.
Or is Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican friends. It's time for Republicans in the Congress to show a little courage, to show a little spine, that you work for them, not for anyone else. I know who I work for. I work for the American people.
Yeah, not us. But it seems the only work getting done is by criminals. As experts warn, migrants are being recruited for crime sprees, particularly in suburban Chicago areas. Here with more is retired Riverside, Illinois Police Chief Tom Weitzel. Sir, thanks so much for joining the program.
Now, before we move forward and listen to what he has to say, I want to just take a moment to focus on this for a second. Let's read through this very quickly. What is this from NBC Chicago? 3 charged in scheme directing migrants to shoplift in exchange for fake IDs, sheriff says. So you have migrants that are shoplifting in exchange for fake IDs. We have another article here that states police chief calls migrant criminal activity a real problem after 6 charged with retail theft. And then we have another article they have clipped here that says CPD Chicago Police Department, 4 migrants arrested for threatening and assaulting 12 district officers. So they assaulted a police officer or multiple police officers in the city of Chicago, because that's district officers, but that's plural. So multiple officers were assaulted, apparently by these 4 migrants. And I'm sure they're still just walking around the city of Chicago free. No deportation, no nothing. But anyways, let's carry on.
Areas. Here with more is retired Riverside, Illinois Police Chief Tom Weitzel. Sir, thanks so much for joining the program. So we're looking at some of these crime stats. Robbery is up 23%, car theft is up 37%, and theft is up 3%. This seems like a huge problem, right?
Yeah, it is. And, you know, it's worked its way from the city of Chicago out to the suburbs. You know, what's really happening is when the migrants are landing at the designated landing zone in Chicago, when they step off the bus, or in some cases the plane, they're given phones and they're being recruited, some of them, to go out to the suburban malls and the suburban shopping areas and entertainment zones to commit crimes. And
okay, let's stop there. I'm not saying that what he's saying isn't true, right? But I vehemently refute the claim, thought, the idea that they're being recruited, because that lends an ear or lends your heart to believe that they're being taken advantage of. These men coming off of planes and buses are not minors. These aren't children, right? These are grown men in their 20s, 30s, if not older, that are coming off of these buses and or planes and then are being, quote, recruited. At 20, 30 and older, you're not being recruited to do anything. You're making a choice to commit crime. You're making a choice. No one recruited you to do anything. I'm originally from Chicago. I moved to Los Angeles when I was 19 going on 20. As a 19-year-old going on 20, nobody can recruit me to commit crime. Nobody can recruit me and warp and twist my mind up to make me believe that it's okay to commit crime upon arriving here to Los Angeles when I was 19 going on 20. Okay? If I did do that, that wasn't me getting recruited. That was me making a choice to come to LA and said, hey, I'm from Chicago, moving here to LA, and I came here to commit crime. That's what I came here for, right? So that's literally the same thing that's happening right now with these grown men that are coming off these buses and planes and being, quote, recruited. No one's being recruited. This is what you came here to do, okay?
They're being provided transportation, mapping, because imagine you get off the bus and you wouldn't know where Oak Brook, Illinois is, or Lombard, Illinois, or North Riverside, Illinois, which are communities that have major malls. You would have no idea it even exists. So they're being coached on how to do this.
Well, it's a whole criminal enterprise taking place. We're looking at the latest numbers of the migrant crisis in Chicago. It's been over 35,000 illegal migrants to arrive since August of 2022, and $156 million spent since October of 22.
That number is really in between how much the city of Chicago has provided and the state of Illinois has provided. That number is actually somewhere around 600 million plus.
Sir, I mean, you've been in law enforcement for a long time. What's been the reaction of the law enforcement community? Because you guys are going to have to police these areas now.
Yeah, unfortunately, in many of the cases, it's why bother, because the officers are arresting the same individuals 5 and 6 times a month, twice a week, because they're never held in custody unless there's some aggravating circumstance. They're being released.
So someone has to get hurt for them to be held in custody. Someone has to be hurt or deleted for you to hold migrants in the city of Chicago in custody. It's interesting. Just didn't want to let that point go over anybody's head.
A week, because they're never held in custody unless there's some aggravating circumstance. They're being released immediately, and this is how it goes down. The migrants, they commit a theft. They never surrender. There's either foot pursuits or car pursuits, which obviously are very dangerous.
That's interesting as well. He just stated the migrants or illegal immigrants never surrender. You always have to chase and hunt them down in the city of Chicago when they commit a crime. Understandably so, because they're under the false notion that they're going to get deported if they commit crime. And that is a false notion because no one's getting deported from New York and Chicago. It's just not happening. Sanctuary city status rules, which is essentially a no snitching policy. So you're not going to get deported. They just don't understand or realize that yet. That's why they don't surrender and they make a run for it every time.
And when the police catch up with them, you can read any report they're fighting with the police on every instance. They're going in, being booked, and being released right away back into the public.
Yeah, because what?
Wow, let me rewind that part back one more time. So every time it turns into a chase, you have to pursue and hunt these guys down, and then once you catch them, you have to fight them off. You have to fight them just to arrest them, just for them to be let out within the next 45 minutes. That's crazy.
Dangerous. And when the police catch up with them, you can read any report they're fighting with the police on every instance. They're going in, being booked, and being released right away back into the public.
Yeah, because what do they got to lose? What do they have to lose? You guys aren't able to work with ICE. I mean, what's your comment on that as well? Because of these sanctuary policies, these cities and states, law enforcement are not able to call ICE to come pick these guys up and deport them.
No, and in Chicago and the suburbs state of Illinois, there's directives for us not to enter the databases for ICE and other federal organizations. So we're not able to check the status of those migrants through the computer system.
By the way,
that is insanity. So these guys are committing crime like crazy, being arrested multiple times over, and you're not allowed to check the federal database to even find out who you're dealing with. For all you know, that these are maybe possibly MS-13 gang members, or probably part of some other violent criminal organization in Venezuela, and it's locked in a federal file that you're not allowed to access so that you can find out who you're dealing with. Understand, this is what sanctuary city status allows. Sanctuary city laws protects illegal immigrant criminals. That's what it does, clearly. And we've seen and heard this pattern and this statement being repeated over and over again. This is why in New York, they've coined illegal immigrant criminals ghost criminals. They're ghost criminals because you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't really know who these people are. They're ghost criminals, you know.
Way law enforcement don't enforce the law.
I'm gonna rewind that just a little bit, and then we're gonna wrap this up.
So we're not able to check the status of those migrants through the computer system.
By the way, law enforcement don't enforce the law if people come here illegally. Just let them terrorize your community. Tom, thanks so much for joining the program. It's ridiculous what's happening.
Thank you very much.
It's ridiculous and unbelievable. You're not allowed to, these guys are committing crime like crazy, making a run for it every time. When they get caught, hunted down, you have to fight them just to arrest them once you catch them, because they fight you and assault the officers every time. And then once they finally get arrested, if a detainer is issued by ICE, Chicago PD is not allowed to honor that detainer that was sent out. So they let these same guys go into the street, back out to wreak havoc that they were wreaking before they even got arrested. And then on top of that, CPD isn't even allowed to look into the federal file to know and understand who they're dealing with and who they are re-releasing back into the public. And to make matters even worse, your tax dollars are paying for it. Because as you saw with the 4 migrants who were arrested on robbery, assault, and strangulation, these guys were living in the city-run migrant shelters. That's your tax dollars, the citizens of Chicago, that are paying for this. You're paying to house these guys who get to wreak havoc in your city without any fear of consequences. So I don't even know where else to go with that from there. So honestly, we'll just end the video here. That does it for today's news. More madness via Joe Biden's open border policies. And we can only expect this to increase as time goes on. Why wouldn't it increase when you know there are no real consequences for the actions that you commit? When you can run from the police, fight the police, beat the police up, and know that your federal files are protected, they don't get to see who you really are, you get to remain a ghost criminal, you don't have to worry about deportation at all. That is all insanity. Why would you be in fear of anything? The crime is only going to go up. And that's what we're going to see moving forward. So with all that, I want to thank you all for joining me today. Like I said earlier, that does it for today's news. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram group is in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section below as well. And until the next video, peace.